Positive and negative numbers. Positive numbers are used to describe quantities above zero, while negative numbers are used to describe quantities below zero. They can also be used to represent opposite directions. So, in terms of going forward or reversing, a negative number would represent reversing or going backwards, while a positive number can represent going forwards. A positive number is written as a normal number. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are all positive numbers. However, a positive number can also be written with a plus in front of it. So, for example, we have positive 2 or positive 2. They are both the same. However, you can write it with a plus in front of it or just the number by itself. A negative number is written with a minus sign in front of it. So, for example, negative 2, it would be written as the number 2, but it has a negative sign in front of it. So we can have negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, and we have an idea about negative and positive numbers from our lesson on the number line. So if you didn't check out that lesson, you can go ahead and check it out. Applications of positive and negative numbers in real life. So negative numbers and also positive numbers can be used to show stock market gains and stock market losses. So a loss would be denoted by using a negative number, while a gain would be represented using a positive number. They are also used to indicate values above sea level and also values below sea level. So a negative number or a negative value would mean below sea level, while a positive value means above sea level. They are also used to show below zero temperatures and above zero temperatures. So we know that like a negative number, a negative value, so negative 4 degrees Celsius, that means the temperature is 4 degrees below zero, while if we add 4 degrees Celsius, that would mean that the value is above zero. Now, negative numbers are also used to, well, both negative and positive numbers are also used to denote the position of the floors in a building. So a negative number represents floors below the ground floor, while a positive number represents floors above the ground floor, and the ground floor would be represented by a 0. Let's look at two examples. Example A. What is the opposite of 9? What is the opposite of 9? The opposite of 9 is, please pause the video and attempt these two examples. Alright, the opposite of 9 is negative 9. Now, let's look at example B. Abinadab borrows $20 from the bank. What is the amount Abinadab owes the bank as an integer? He owes the bank negative 20. Well, we use negative 20 to represent what Abinadab owes the bank in the form of an integer. let's look at some questions and answers. For the following, state the integer. Alright, so question A. Today's temperature is 5 degrees below zero. Firstly, please go ahead and pause the video and attempt the questions. Okay. So let's look at example A. Today's temperature is 5 degrees below zero. Alright, so that's 5 degrees below zero. We know that values below zero are negative, therefore this is negative 5. Question B. An aeroplane is 632 feet above the ground. Alright, so that's 632 feet above the ground. Therefore, this is 632. Example C. A diver is 40 feet below sea level. 40 feet below sea level. Therefore, this is negative 40 because it is 40 feet below sea level. If it was above, no, we would put 40. Question D. State the opposite of negative 50. The opposite of negative 50 is 50. Let's look at question E. John owes Steve $35. John owes Steve $35. So John has a sum of money for Steve. So because John owes Steve, the integer which will represent this quantity is negative. So if it was a case where John had $35 to receive from Steve, then this value would be 35. However, John owes Steve, so therefore this integer is represented, this quantity is represented by a negative 35. Good. Question F. Steve has 2,753 in his savings account. So Steve has $2,753 in his savings account. Steve has that amount of money, therefore it is a positive value. It's not a case that Steve owes $2,753. Question G. Identify the location of the opposite of 3 on the number line below. Alright, so we need to locate the opposite of 3. First, let me show you the number line. Here is our number line. So we need to find the opposite of 3. And the opposite of 3 is negative 3. Therefore, we need to find negative 3 on the number line. And here is our negative 3. Great. I hope this lesson helped you a lot. If you have any questions or need further explanation, please leave them in the comment section.